Oh shit. Here we go again.
Never thought I'd have to come back and talk about yet another cupcake enjoyer. What's up guys, all jokes aside, today we will be talking about known player and former Bliss SMP member, Murphin, who was recently exposed for allegedly interacting with minors. Now, Bliss SMP came out on Twitter stating that the reason Murphin was removed from the server is because he was having sexual and inappropriate actions and conversations with members of the community who was under the age of 18, while he himself was over the age of 18. You may be asking where I got these allegations from and if I even have any proof. If we look over on Twitter, fellow Bliss SMP member Muggo made a joint document with a player named Pookie titled Helping Merffinn just a few days after Bliss tweeted. Alongside that, a community member of the name Something Red came out with a document which goes over all of what Merffinn did. Let's take a quick look. Now, sure, these documents are pretty damn convincing and seems to be real, but there's really only one true way to get the full story. That's why I took it upon myself to get Murphin into a VC for an interview where I asked a few questions and broke most of the allegations down. Yo.
Hello.
Yo, what up?
Yo.
Alright, so you ready? I got a few questions.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, just gotta make sure throughout this you're gonna be 100% and completely honest, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so now I'm just gonna start off simple, okay?
Mhm.
Can you tell me how you first came into contact with these people?
Like everyone referred to in the documents and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off with the anonymous trans femme 14-year-old, right?
Okay.
So I met them. Well, no, I've known them for a little while, right? But I've
Okay.
only started talking with them recently, like last year in March, right?
Okay.
And me and her,
Sorry for that.
me and her, yeah, all good. Me and her would talk pretty frequently in this GC with someone else, someone unrelated, and it would come a time where she would start flirting with me, right?
Okay.
Now, I originally told her, right, when I found out that she was flirting with me, and I asked her if she had feelings for me, and she confirmed it. She said, "Yeah, I do like you." I told her, "No, we can't date, right? I'm almost 18 years old, right, and I don't feel comfortable with the age gap, right?"
Okay.
And she stopped flirting for a little bit, but then she, I don't know, like a few days later, she started flirting again, right? And I didn't exactly know what to do. I mean, obviously in hindsight, I should just shut down again. But I didn't do that. That's why we're here. So
Yeah.
she kept on going on with it, right? And I made this very dumbass mistake, right, of not really reading the room and what I could say could affect her, and I unintentionally led her on by telling her, right, that I loved her back, right, or like when she said, "I missed you," I said, "I missed you too," stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't really think much about it at the time, but obviously, right, it probably led her on into thinking that she could continue flirting with me, right? And then she later confirmed to one of my friends at the time that when my initial rejection to her, that it felt to her that I didn't mean it, So
Okay.
yeah, that was like my issue with that, right? And then as I and then I don't know, a couple weeks of that, her dad gets on her account, tells me, "Oh yeah, this person, they've actually been lying to you about their age. They're not 15, they're 14." Because this entire time, me and everyone else that's known her thought she was 15, right? She said she was lying about her age and other things that aren't really related, right? And told me to start contacting her, right? So at the time, I wasn't entirely sure if that was her dad, right? Because so at the time, I was actually able to get back onto the account and then delete her dad's messages, right? So I was like, okay, if that was her dad, how the hell did she regain access to her Discord account? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And she tried to pretend that nothing happened, but I wasn't really having it. I kept on asking her what was going on, and she would sort of ghost me or ignore it. And then eventually, her dad got right back on her account and said, and then told me, "Oh yeah, no, I changed the password on the account. She can't get back into it and stuff like that." And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, just telling me more stuff that aren't really related. Just being like, yeah, she's 14 and stuff like that. But then later, and manages to get on another, like her alt account that I knew she had, right? And then tells me that she got hacked, right? And I didn't exactly know what to believe, right? But I wanted to gain the truth from, I want to gain the truth from her, so that so that I could freaking, so like I can make a decision on whether or not I should cut her off or not, right?
Yeah.
It's because if the claims weren't true that her dad was saying, then I would have then I would have like then there would have been no reason for me to cut her off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because then it would be like, okay, well, so she didn't lie about her age, so she did nothing wrong, right? But you know, she tells me that her account got hacked, right? And then keeps on asking me to hang out. I go, oh, okay, you got hacked. How'd you get hacked? She didn't answer me on that, right? And then she kind of like ignores my questions and stuff like that. And so I keep in contact with her to try and like get an answer from her, like understand her side of the story, right? And know if anything was said was actually true or not, right? Like I didn't hang out with her at all. We didn't like talk about anything unrelated, or at least I try. Well, I tried not to talk about anything unrelated and stuff like that. I tried to stay on topic with her, but then eventually one of our friends tells me, oh yeah, but then confessed to me that she is actually 14 years old, yada yada, and then tells me that and it tells me that she will and then tells me that she will like tell me on her own time like everything, you know. So, and tells me not to block her yet or something like that. So he
Okay.
didn't tell me not to block her yet, but you know, I was like, okay, so if she's still got more to tell me, then I'm gonna not unadd her yet, right? Unfortunately, she never did end up telling me what was going on, and it all ended when her dad found out she was on her other account, and then took that away, and I assume took away every other device that she could have had, and then that was that. I never talked to her again, right?
Okay.
So that's one situation. In the document, they say that I was like talking to her sexually and stuff like that. That didn't happen. Uh, I even have like a screenshot where her friend was asking her if I said anything, you know, like suggestive or anything, and then she herself admitted, yeah, the most that he said were the "I love yous" and "miss yous," right? Like I never said anything suggestive to her and stuff like that. So I don't know why they put that in the doc, but they did. But yeah, there's that. That's that for that situation. Um, a non-trans femme, 14-year-old, right?
When did you learn how old they were?
When? Let me look exactly. I learned that August 1st. Yeah, August 1st of 2024.
Right. And when did you like start to talk to them about the age difference when they started to flirt with you?
Um, Let me look again. June 29th.
So before that, how old did you think they were before they told you how old they were?
15. Because that's what they said they were. That's how old they said they were to everyone, like everyone around her. So
Okay. Okay.
I actually have another question as well.
yeah.
So all this stuff that was said in Caprilix's videos and the documents, is that all to the story or is there more?
All to the story. There is more, like more that I got, more, I guess, allegations, right?
Yeah.
But I assume, but like, that's the thing. I know that, well, not Caprilix, but I know that the person something Red, who made the doc, knows about one of the situations. But I think that she didn't include it. She didn't include it in there because ultimately, all the allegations involving me and someone else was turned out to be false for the most part. Oh yeah, I think 14-year-old, just 14-year-old person, right?
When
So
did you meet? When did you meet this 14-year-old person? The one that you're about to talk about?
I met them. Hold on, let me look exactly. I'm trying to look exactly when. It's kind of hard
Here,
to.
finish the story that you're about to start, and then we can figure that out after.
Okay, so yeah, so this 14-year-old girl, right? Me and her met like right, not met, dated right as I turned 17. I think it's no, we dated like a few days before I turned 17, but I mean, point still stands. Um, Me and her started dating throughout the time. The She was 14 at the time, and I was newly 17, and the age gap between me and her was 2 years and 3 months, right? And me and her dated for, I don't know, a grand total of 4 months, I think. Um, but like the reason why it ended with between me and her was because I wasn't sure. I didn't really like. I wasn't really down for the relationship considering how wide the age gap was getting between me and her, right? It's because I was really worried about like how people perceive it, even if like the age gap was like never gonna change. 2 years and 3 months, that's really like, I guess, gray area in most people's minds, right? But I knew that there was gonna be a point where after I turned 18, she would still be turning 16, right? Like even if that was a 3 month period, I wasn't really down for that. So I ended up so I wanted to break up with her, but I didn't break up with her immediately because she had a habit of venting to random people completely unrelated to what's going on about just about any of her problems, right? So I kind of like held off on like wanting to break up with her for like a couple weeks or so. And then eventually two of my friends ended up seeing that like I was visibly unhappy with the relationship and saw how she was acting, and then helped me follow through breaking up with her. I think sometime in October or November. No, November. Yeah. So, I mean, that's that. I kind of forget the points that the document that Something Red made. Um, like the points they made in that. I think they're talking about. I just don't remember. But that was brought up. I think they were like claiming the age gap to be like, I don't know, 3 years, and me being and just being like, oh yeah, I knew it was weird, but I continued to go on with it, right, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the facts for that was I dated her as I turned 17. Continued dating her for about 4 months. Throughout the relationship, she eventually turned 15. And then a month after she turned 15, I broke up with her because I wasn't comfortable with the age gap.
So you had nothing to do with her to that level after you turned 18, right?
Yeah, no, 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 no. But when I broke up with her, I was still like halfway into 17, I think.
Okay, so I guess we can't really say anything about that aside from
Yeah.
like maybe some people thinking it's weird and some not. But
Yeah. Uh,
you spoken to them since at all?
uh, yeah, like there was like a couple months or so because me and her were in the same community. We would like really, I guess, be around each other, and so we would interact. And sometimes she would go in my DMs about things that I don't want to get into because it's pretty personal for her, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we communicated after we broke up, but then
Hello?
5 months ago,
Okay.
and then that was that for that one. And then what is it? Oh yeah, the 15-year-old dude. All right, So for that one, I think I hold on, let me look exactly when I met him.
How old were you when? I'll let you look at that. I'll let you look at that.
How old was I when what?
Mm, I'll let you finish the story so we can actually understand.
Okay. So let me look here. God, it's hard to look like recent messages through mobile, bro, or look through, try and find the oldest message. So yeah, I met this person. I think I was already 18. I'm not sure, which is why I'm looking, but it was like I met this person in some Minecraft server, right? And we became pretty good friends and stuff like that. And then it kind of eventually out of nowhere, um, he started like speaking pretty sexual with me, and I was like relatively hesitant at first and stuff like that because I was like, I'm not sure about that and stuff like
How
that.
old were you? How old were you at this point?
Oh yeah, I was 18.
And were you aware of their age?
You said what?
Were you aware of their age?
When I first met them, I thought they were 16, but I think like halfway into me and him talking actively, they were like 15. I'm 15. I'm turning 16 or something like that.
And this happened after you guys were halfway talking?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Okay. Okay.
but but yeah, it was like I was talking with them for a bit. We started becoming pretty good friends and stuff like that, and then eventually it started turning into, I guess, uh, romance level jokes, like pretty suggestive, you know. But like we didn't really mean anything by it, and he asked me if I was comfortable with him like coming at me. Sometimes I was like, I don't really care, um, and things like that. And that kind of like I guess that continued up until Charlie 4K interviewed me that one day, and I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. And then that's when after that it stopped. I mean, that situation is by far the worst. But
Okay, so you understand why that one is bad.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like at the time when I was talking with them, right? I didn't think that it was anything illegal because honestly, I wasn't aware of like an internet law of like a sexual acts, right? Up until UG told me literally today, right? So or yesterday. So I was like, when I was talking with him, I was going off of the mind being like, oh yeah, well this isn't illegal because in my state there's laws that don't make it illegal, and where he's from, he's already at the age of consent, right? So I was like, even if people did think that like, even if people like misinterpreted what me and him were saying and thinking that like we were serious or like anything more, I'd be like, well, it's not exactly pedophilia, but I learned differently yesterday. But
It can be different because those vary by location.
you
So
said what?
the internet laws are weird because it depends. Say wherever Columns is and wherever you are, it's different. But I understand. I understand. But
Yeah,
you
I wasn't
understand
really.
you understand why this one is weird. Yeah, this one you can understand why it's weird.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% understand why it was weird. It's like, yeah, like I don't really have much justification for that.
I,
All I
I'm
can
I'm
really,
willing to say that this one is just because of this one is probably the reason everyone's looking into the other two ones. If everything you said about the other two ones is true, and I mean, like, if you're innocent in those other two ones, you understand why people are looking at those two, right?
yeah. So like the thing is too, right, is that before all this became public, like public on like Twitter and Kubernetes covering it, right? I'd say about 4 months ago or so, I was already getting heat from content creators because they heard about like the anon trans femme thing, right? And a lot of people start kind of like making rumors about those things, being like, oh, he was 19 when he did this, right? Or he was still talking to her after he figured out that this person was 14, right? And or being like, oh yeah, I still hung out with her, or like I talked sexually to her or something like that, right? And things start kind of getting I don't know, like word of mouth start like butchering the truth and stuff like that. And because of like everything that I was like, because of I told Muggum and Pookie everything that I told you guys, right? And then except for them, I showed proof of it, right? They usually come to me, ask questions. Hey, did you do this, or how old were you in this? And I'd be like, I was still 17, and no, I didn't do this, right, or stuff like that. And they'd be like, oh, okay, and then I'd show proof of that, and that's why they stuck by me for so long, right? But then after this new development with the 15-year-old guy, right? Uh, you know, they
It
had
kind of fucked you with the other ones.
yeah. It kind of like made them have to cut me off and everything like that. And made them feel weird about it. And I mean, I don't blame them because it's a weird situation. It's like, but yeah, it's like everything else, like on its lonesome. Like if you take out the 15-year-old guy, if you take that out, and then you just put what everything else I've said, right? Really, it can't really be boiled. I don't think the rest of them could be boiled down to pedophilia, right?
The second one, definitely can be labeled as pedophilia. The first one, however you take it, depends how you take it. Second one can be labeled as pedophilia, but people can still say it's weird. But yeah.
The me 17, she 14 thing or something like that.
Yeah, whichever one that you finish it off at 17 and a half. I mean, they can't say it's pedophilia, they can say it's weird, but
Yeah.
the first one you could make a case. Third one you can definitely make a case. But I mean, let me ask you this: had the third one with the dude not happened, would you have still like interacted that way with the other two?
With the other two? Well, they came
Yeah.
before the other guy. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If this situation, because you said this situation is what really fucked up the other two. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I can't say that. If this situation kind of messed up the other two, like I'm saying, do you regret the other two without
Oh
the
yeah.
context? Without the context of the third one, like screwing you, quote unquote, would you
Oh,
regret the other two?
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's because I definitely do regret leading on that one girl, like unintentionally or not. It still happened. It still had an effect, right? And that kind of made everything worse because I really should have known better, you know. But and stuff like that. Me dating that other girl, uh, it's like I don't know. It's like I regret it. I regret not further thinking about the um the age difference between me and her and how that could be seen as weird by other people and stuff like that. It's because 2 years and 3 months, like I said, it's like really gray area, you know. Um, it's not even like halfway into 3 years or anything like that. It's really gray area. So, but like if I could go back in time, I wouldn't want to date her. I wouldn't date her again because I would just know that like it's too the age gap's a little too wide to continue with that.
Yeah. I got can I ask two questions real quick?
Yeah.
Alright, so the first one,
Mhm.
what was your intention behind the messages? Like, were they purely jokes? Did they have seriousness behind them? What was the intention?
So they were. Wait, what do you mean? Like what
Like
jokes?
the ones that could be labeled as sexual acts, like those ones?
Oh, you said the first one. So you're referring to the 15-year-old dude, or?
Yeah, just
We
like
gotta go message by message here.
yeah. So I have a few of the screenshots here.
Uh huh.
Now the one where let me find it. There was one of them where you brought up the fact that you will do it when they turn 18, talking about, I don't think I have to really say it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so those were jokes. No, zero seriousness behind those, right? Um, I could pull up a screenshot where he asked me if I was even comfortable if I was comfortable with him saying sexual stuff to me and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm fine with it. As long as it's jokes, I'm fine with it because it's jokes, and stuff like that. And I even asked him like post all of this coming out and stuff like that. I was like, I just want to be 100. I just want to be 100% clear. I was like, I asked him. I was like, be completely honest. Was everything you said a joke or not? Like, was there any underlying meaning behind it? He says, no, they were all jokes, right? Like, he says, yeah, obviously they're jokes, and he never really thought too much about it because he says, I was just existing, doing jokes, doing funnies and stuff like that, like, like I never actually want to do any of the things I said to him, and I never meant what I said to him. Like I wasn't gonna say all that stuff and then actually grab the keys.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I didn't mean anything I said to him. Now in an interview with Take Nine, right? He didn't believe me when I said that, right? And I was like, at the time, because it was all coming down to me at once, I was extremely panicky and stuff like that. And he was like really hard pressing me alongside Charlie and Sponker, being like, I don't like how you're like lying to me right now. Like you're so blatantly lying, yada yada yada, right? And I ended up folding to the pressure and being like, yeah, I was serious, yeah. Like I was serious, you know. Instead of just showing him the proof, where instead of thinking to show him the proof where we said it was jokes, like I didn't know how to explain it to him, and I ended up folding under the pressure, making him think that I was serious with everything I said, right?
Okay.
But like even though like so basically me telling him that I was serious was a complete lie, right? Because I felt pressured. But me actually like the meaning behind everything I said to him, they were jokes. Like I didn't actually want to do anything. I didn't expect to do anything, and yada yada, right? And I tried not to make the same mistake I did with Skypop, just in case. I told him like midway through, I was like, we're just friends. Like I didn't want him to think that like.
All right. Next question. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Now, you kind of briefly went over this with your current explanation. I just got to make sure that be 100%. I need it to be confirmed.
Yeah.
During either of these, I guess we could call them. I don't know what we can call them, but during any of these three interactions, was there any moment of time where you did or wanted to meet up with them?
Oh no. Oh wait, no. So because with the me being 17 and the other girl being 14 stuff like
Yeah.
that, the 2 year 3 month age gap, because we were like in close proximity with each other, we were thinking about heading to VidCon Baltimore because that was actually how we met, right? I was invited to a Discord server by a friend of people who want to go to VidCon Baltimore, and she was in it, and my friend suggested that me and her buddy up, right? And that was how we met. So we, like, as we were meeting, we were already thinking about going to VidCon Baltimore, but we never ended up actually doing it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was because of laziness or something like that, but like we didn't actually go to it.
Okay.
But like the other two situations, I didn't actually want to meet up with anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't make plans. I didn't anything like that.
Alright, next question. Looking back at all of it now, after all the hate, all the stuff that came out, how do you view your relationships and your interactions with the three people now?
Oh well, all of them. I mean, we just don't really interact. We don't talk, right? I never reached out to any of them or anything like that. Okay, well, the 15-year-old dude, I unadded him after everything like that. I told him that it was probably best we don't talk anymore and stuff like that. as recommended to me by Charlie 4K Take 9. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll stop talking to them, you know. But like the other two situations, no one we like even before everything came out, we already didn't talk months prior to it, you know. So
Yeah. All
it's
right.
like I don't really have like relations with them or anything.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Like as I brought to your attention last night in DMs, I was told something about instance that happened about a week ago.
Yeah.
About a 15-year-old, including sexting.
Uh-huh. What's this situation? Because
I don't know the entire situation, but it was from a fellow YouTuber who told me, and I was asking where he got where he heard about it from. He said it was on Twitter and stuff.
is he like misunderstanding me and the 15-year-old boy? Like or sort of that?
I'm not sure. All he said was he talked to another 15-year-old last week and sexted them.
And when did he tell you this?
Last night.
Okay, yeah. I didn't talk to anyone last week. Like the most amount of talking I've done was like with like a few online friends and stuff like that. But it's like even as I'm like scrolling through all this like my DMs currently, right? It's like nobody there's nobody in here. Like the point is I didn't talk to anyone that way last week.
Yeah.
I don't know where this person got it from. I think he might be misunderstanding because he said he read it on Twitter.
Yep.
So it's like I mean maybe he's like red doc and thinking it's something else. But
Could be. Let's see.
yeah, I don't really fully know. It's like without a name or anything, I can't even like really show proof that like this didn't happen. But it's like I didn't talk to anyone. Like last week was when last week well close to 2 weeks ago was when all this started happening, and last week was when I was in like my internet downtime the most because I was really locking in on college and trying to get like a more solidified social life outside the internet.
Yeah. How did you react whenever all the backlash and all the documents came out? How did you first react to it all?
Well, I mean, honestly, I was like, you know, I was panicking a little bit because I was like, dang, man, I've been in this community for 4 years, right? I've been a very prominent member of it, and now it's all getting cut down, you know, and stuff like that. But as time started going by, I was like, I mean, no matter how you put it, I mean, I guess this is me getting a harsh truth on how my actions just aren't really acceptable, and that, I mean, and that this is a time that I should be spending like time trying to change it, you know, because I can't be seen as a groomer slash pedophile forever, bro. Like I'm only 18, right? I still got a whole life ahead of me,
Yeah.
right? So the best thing I could do is to try and change, and and while everything's happening, while the iron is still hot, take accountability, let people know like my opinions, or give them, just answer questions. Not try and hide anything, right?
Yeah.
But definitely, like I don't know, within like the first like 3 days or so of it happening, I was low-key kind of like losing my mind. But like I didn't exactly be like, oh no, how could this happen to me or anything like that. I was more so like I felt like it was becoming more of a inevitability that like the stuff was gonna come out and stuff like that. So it's like I still took it pretty bad, but I didn't like I don't know. It's like
You
I
didn't
didn't
pull
try
a
and
Lucius.
yeah, I didn't try to pretend to kill myself or anything like that.
After all of this came out, after all the backlash and everything has been brought to your attention, are there any steps that you took to better yourself or get any help, or like what's happening?
Okay, well, one of the first things I did was talk to my dad. Right, I was talking to him about it. I let him know the situations, right, and he gave me some advice, being like, He was like, "Oh yeah, you just gotta like start over." And he was actually the one who told me. He was actually the one who told me about the laws that made me think it wasn't illegal, right? And stuff like that. And then that's how I looked it up. And I was like, okay, so what I did isn't pedophilia, you know? But again, I learned that yesterday.
Yeah.
But
It depends by
stuff like-
state. It depends by state and location. But where I mean, now, don't get me wrong. Wherever you might be, it might be different, but it just varies by location.
Yeah, it does. But so the steps I've taken ever since I have returned from my college dorm, because all this happened at the end of my spring break. Ever since I returned to my college dorm, my computer hasn't been plugged in and still isn't plugged in, right? I try and like remove the I don't know, the temptations of hopping back on the internet, because I think at this point it's a slippery slope. Like I might meet new people and then it's gonna make me like forget that I'm supposed to be learning, you know. So, you know, I haven't plugged in my computer, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon, unless I don't know, like some college friends want me to do something. But and stuff like that. And I've just been getting out a lot more. Like I've been meeting new people on campus. I've been just doing stuff like that. You know, just trying to, I don't know, like be as normal as possible. You know, like stop being so chronically online.
Yeah.
You know? So those are the steps I have taken. You know, I've talked to my dad, got some advice from him, and you know, just trying to internet detox. And
Yeah.
learn best I can
Yeah.
from the detox.
All right. Not that it matters, but like I mean, nothing could be done. But did you misunderstand anything at any point?
Well, only the true age of that one girl who lied about being 15, right?
Okay.
Throughout most of it, pretty much like throughout basically all of the time I've known her, I thought she was older than she was, and turned out that she wasn't, like, you know, as old as she's saying she was, and she was allegedly, like, her dad says that she just turned 14, right? Which makes me think that, like, that's at some of the point that I've actually known her, she might have been actually 13 or something, right?
Uh-oh.
But you know, I didn't know that. I thought she was 15 the entire time, you know, and
I have one more question. Not that it's not like vital or anything. Nothing too bad. Do you ever see yourself returning to the community, or?
I think it's honestly too early to tell. I mean, as of right now, I'm leaning towards a no, because you know, regardless of whether or not I come back, like how I come back or anything like that. I mean, I've seen how people treat the comeback of other people, right? It's like you know, Sponker. It's been at this point years since his situations happened, and it's still being held against his head, right? And I'm not saying I blame them for doing that, but I mean that's the point that was made, right? When he did the stuff he was doing, he was the age I was, but I mean, but and stuff like that. I mean, obviously the situation varies, but yeah, I've seen how people treat situations. Like people have been holding over Charlie for K that she was a racist for actual years now, and I feel like those remarks happened literally like 3 years ago, and it's still being held over her head, right? And you know, I have no doubt that that's how it's going to happen to me, and stuff like that. And if I did try to come back, right, it's like, you know, I don't know about trying to make a return to the community, because I know that like a lot of people were gonna see me for how it was, you know.
Yeah.
Like most I think I might do is make some response, like I don't know, years down the line, like as I don't know, maybe make a response years down the line, talking about the situation in its entirety regarding me, but like that's all I could see it going for the foreseeable future, you know. Was that like all the questions you guys had, or?
That's all my questions. Y'all have any?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good here.
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well,
right.
thank you for your time, Murphin. Appreciate you for being
Yeah.
open and honest.
Yeah, no,
Just for confirmation, so you know, for my own safety, I did have permission to record this and use it, correct?
yeah.
Okay, thank you. To record this and use it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. A few things I noticed when going into this interview was that he was a little stuttery, but I personally just think he was nervous and didn't have anything to hide. I also noticed he stepped up and said recent messages and corrected himself. This could mean literally nothing, but it could be something worth noting. After looking over all the documents and having the long interview with Murphin, the only major case was the one where he was 18 instead of 17. The other ones, which sure can be classified as weird, cannot be labeled as pedophilia, and I can tell he has taken the right steps to becoming better and detox himself from the internet, and I personally respect that. That's all for this situation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I hear anything else, I will be sure to update y'all. Okay guys, this is after editing Yuji here, and I'm just coming in to let y'all know, no, I'm not saying Murphin is innocent. I am not saying what he did was not fucked up. I'm simply just interviewing him, stating what I pointed out, and giving my opinion on what I understand on the matter. Anyways, I know this video was long, way longer than usual. If you guys enjoyed, please hit the subscribe button. Please like the video. Let me know down below if you would like more long videos like this, more interviews incorporated in the videos. And yeah, peace. Also, if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna hit you with a 2x4. The fuck?